Hello and welcome to another update video about Platinum. Actually I have never spoken about Platinum on this channel. It's the first time. It's one of the videos I pre-recorded. I recorded it last week just because when you see this video I'm still very busy doing some other stuff that I haven't managed to do for a long time. So I'm catching up on some other stuff, but pre-recorded this video to give you some additional value still and give you your regular updates. In addition to that, I think it's quite interesting to take a look at Platinum because this is Platinum Futures, the Platinum Futures chart, NYMEX, Platinum Futures, because we could have really formed a somewhat lasting low. And it's getting very interesting. We then had a rally of the 2020 lows, and we are now doing a bit of a pullback there. Looking at the bigger picture, this is the weekly chart, so it doesn't really matter if it's pre-recorded or not. We also want to take a look at the daily chart. But, you know, zooming out, I think there is quite a bit of potential there. There are, of course, levels that need to hold to keep that wave count alive. But my primary scenario would be that this is a 1-2 setup. Alternatively, maybe we talk about an A, B, C instead of a 1, 2, 3. But that doesn't really make a difference short term. You see that after this high that was made in 2008, the market has significantly corrected down all the way to a low at around $568 it was in 2020. And now we are possibly already in this third wave. So let's first of all establish where we are on the smaller time frame. On the smaller time frame, we've obviously had this low in 2020. And we moved up in what I consider a wave 1. And then we came down in a wave 2. That was the low in 2022. And then next we should get this wave 3, 4, 5, which would all be part of this third wave up there. Now, if that is going to be all of wave 3, or if this is going to form some kind of a subwave structure, that's too early to say really. But if we talk about a target here for circle wave 3, assuming wave 2 is already in, then we talk about $2,300 to maybe even $3,200. That's a very, very rough guideline target. Okay, it's not really super precise. We need to look at the subwaves then and as we go higher, but this is sort of for initial orientation. So if we now label then this move here to the downside, so let me just, okay. So my view is that this here could be another 1-2 setup, okay? 1, 2 came quite deep, but as long as this swing low that was made last year is holding, this is a valid assumption. So let's label that 1, 2, and then this 3, 4, 5. Basically roughly like that. And then we change the wave degree. So basically we can at the moment assume that here, this low that was made most recently in November was the low of the wave 2. Now, again, you know, I think we need to keep perspective here. We need to keep perspective. I mean, if it makes another low, yeah, okay. I just show you here on a very high level that I think that we are close to a low. The movements to the upside have been quite aggressive. The movements to the downside, very corrective. Also here, aggressive move to the upside into 2008, very corrective move down, a 3-wave structure. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, can I rule out that it's coming down a little lower and that it's resetting the wave 2 a bit lower? No, absolutely not. But as long as last year's low is holding, which again was at around $795, $796, this assumption sort of stands, okay? We then have here a flat structure, A, B, C. And one of the reasons why I also assume at least or consider the possibility that a low might have formed is that we can count that very nicely as a complete correction. this move of the January 23 highs, down an A wave, up a B wave, and then down a C wave of a wave 2. Change the color. In a wave C, we have 5 waves. So I can count here a wave 1. I can count a wave 2. And then this here all constitutes a third wave, fourth, fifth. Basically within the third wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, and an ending diagonal. But yeah, I can count 5 waves down in wave C. I mean, can I rule out it's getting another low? No, of course not. But there is a potential there. There is a potential there. And I think it's just worth observing that. Obviously, the assumption that this smaller degree wave 2 has bottomed depends on whether the market can now hold the, what was it here, 14th of November low at $844. Below that level, 796 becomes relevant again. And below that level, we would need to really reinterpret the chart. But it would likely just simply be a reset of circle wave 2. We might reset lower. The overall support area for circle wave 2 is down here all the way down to $678, which means that as long as $678 are holding, looking at the bigger picture, considering this 1-2 setup of the 2020 lows, I would be bullish on platinum. Yeah, have to give it a little bit of space if it needs it. Yeah, and it's always a question of time frame. But as long as we're holding $678, I would say a third wave rally, an upcoming third wave rally, is a reasonable assumption. Now let's also take a look at the 4-hour chart. Here I don't really have a great reading. That's what just makes me a little skeptical, because it's really hard to read the lower time frame price action. Maybe we even go to the 1-hour chart. It's not very clear. Also, sometimes when it's not clear on one time frame, doesn't make sense to interpret too much into it. I mean, I think we have 5 waves up here to this 15th of November high. So I've got a potential 1-2 setup here, but it would be a very, 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 very shallow wave 2. And then the question, okay, is this maybe another 1-2, but it would be too long? Or is all of this a wave 1? That's probably my preferred scenario. But this is obviously pre-recorded. So I would say, you know, take this with a pinch of salt. But from what I can see right now, if all of this move up here is a wave 1, then the move down, as long as it's holding 865, and that's just for the perspective on the 1-hour chart. This is the support area with FIB support at 882 and 895. Then as long as this is holding, the third of a third wave rally can start. Yeah, so this is really just a very, very high level perspective, just indicating to you, giving you a little bit of a guide path, a little bit of a roadmap, showing you my understanding of where I believe platinum is in the cycle, or actually platinum futures, because they are tradable. And I think it's definitely something interesting, something I'm going to look at as well. And yeah, hopefully that gave you some or created some value. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. If you're interested in daily updates about the S&P 500 and certain stocks, then check out our stocks and S&P 500 service. You can find the link for that in the description. It's the Patreon link. And here you can get daily updates, daily videos, and intraday updates about the S&P 500. And yeah, sometimes also obviously intraday updates, and regularly 20 stocks are updated. And depending on which tier you choose, some additional stocks and setups are included as well. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.